So over in Germany, Hitler was about to make Mussolini regret ignoring his fan mail. By 1933, Hitler was the Chancellor of Germany. So he was in full control of the country. And on the day that he was sworn into office, Hitler writes a note to Mussolini. He basically says, like, thank you for the inspo. Couldn't have done it without you, BB. We have to get together soon, LOL. Yeah, so he's trying to get Mussolini's attention. And Mussolini is just not into it. He's not into it. He's like, this dude's weird. He's like obsessed with me, you know? Maybe he felt threatened. Maybe he was jealous because Hitler was now getting a lot of attention. Because at this point, people were not liking Mussolini like they used to. People were kind of... Hitler was like taking the limelight now. At the end of the day, Hitler and Mussolini basically had the same political beliefs. They both loved violence and death. They both were ugly. They both were dictators. They both killed a lot. They just had a lot in common. So, it's just kind of weird. You think they'd be best friends. You really think they'd be yeah, I thought they would be. So a few months later, Mussolini gives a speech saying that Italy and Germany have the same goals. So he decides hey, if I can't beat him, I might as well join him, So in September 1937, Mussolini goes to Germany to meet Hitler. And it's a really big deal. Hundreds of thousands of people are there to greet him. And just whoa, I don't know. They're just stoked. So by 1939, there's an official agreement between the two countries to have each other's back. But it wouldn't take long for Hitler to break his promise. So Hitler had promised Musi that he wouldn't invade Czechoslovakia. I can't pronounce words. Anyways, he told him he wasn't going to invade Czechoslovakia. Thank you so much. And he ended up doing it a month later. So, But, Hitler, he decides to invade it anyways. And he didn't give Mussolini a heads up. So Mussolini's pretty pissed off because, they made a pact. And what? He went behind his back and did that. And it was confusing. So it's does this guy like me? Does he hate me? I'm confused. But Mussolini pretends no big deal. I'm not bothered. Everything's fine. And then Hitler decides to invade Poland. Now again, he had promised Musi that he was not going to do that. So Mussolini's what the fuck? What is this guy doing? I'm so confused. Hitler's doing this, and it's not making him look weak. His own government starts to think that he's Hitler's kind of little bitch. Well, Hitler's doing this, and around the same time, Italy loses control of North Africa. So now, to a lot of people, all of that death and destruction happened for no freaking reason. So after this, Mussolini was more unpopular than ever. This was his worst nightmare. His own people started to blame him for the weak turn the country was taking. By 1943, it's becoming more and more clear which way World War II was going to end. And Italy here, they had a sense that they were going to be on the losing side. So around midnight on July 25th, the Fascist Grand Council voted Mussolini out of office. Yes, one of the big reasons was because it was clear that Mussolini's alliance with Nazi Germany was not a great move. There were major economic problems happening in Italy, like food shortages, there were bombings, and widespread suffering. Many saw Mussolini as a liability rather than an asset, and they believed if he stayed in charge, it would lead Italy to more destruction. But as the council voted, I guess Mussolini just sat there and didn't say anything. Honestly, he's kind of defeated at this point. Everything had gone to shit. Now, after this meeting, Mussolini was sent to see the king. This time, the king stands up for himself and dismissed Mussolini as prime minister. And then, to top it all off, Mussolini was arrested, finally ending his 21-year rule. Now, you think it ends there, but it doesn't. Because going to prison was bad news for Mussolini. Because this is the prison. All the prisons are filled with people who hated him. Because anytime anyone, spoke up badly about Mussolini, they'd be, arrested, thrown in jail, whatever. So he was going to prison with all those people. Uh-oh. But then, because the story never ends, out of nowhere, Hitler comes to his rescue. Hitler uses multiple planes to send in dozens of soldiers to break Mussolini out of prison. Now Hitler, he had like some kind of like bigger plans.